technique. 1. What the song is. This is a victory chant from early reggae's frontline, sung by a man who just slipped the grip of bars, bad-minded talk, and invisible enemies. It's triumph without gloating, confidence without costume, and a public service announcement that spirit beats spectacle. Duppy means ghost or malevolent spirit in Jamaican folklore, so a duppy conqueror is someone who beats fear, backbiters, and night things that live off your weakness. The song arrived in 1970 out of Kingston sessions with Lee Scratch Perry, powered by the Barrett Brothers rhythm engine and Glenn Adams' organ bubble. It sits between street reality and Mount Zion talk, so the victory is legal, social, and spiritual all at once. The core idea is simple. Systems can hold your body, but not your destiny, and that difference is where freedom begins. It exists to give ordinary people a battle standard you can hum at the bus stop and believe by the second chorus. It also teaches that the most dangerous prison is the one you swallow. The hook is the key you keep in your own pocket. Second frame. The record is an ethics class disguised as a rhythm. The singer says he was accused and abused, yet set free again, which reframes release as testimony, not luck. The duppy isn't only a folktale spook, it's envy, corruption, rumor, and the internal voice that says, sit back down. The beat leans forward but never rushes, broadcasting a calm that says protection, panic. Scratch Perry's production trusts space. Drums speak, bass decides, organ guides, and the vocal walks like it knows the verdict already. The point is to make courage feel normal and audible. This is armor you can dance in, a psalm that swings. It exists because people under pressure need songs that argue back. It reminds you that confidence is a posture you practice, not a mood you wait for. Third frame. How to fight duppy, practically. Keep your posture facing Zion, your highest aim, so bridges become thresholds instead of traps. Translate every scare tactic into a boundary. Rumors get silence, bullies get distance, temptations get sunlight. Treat time like your co-counsel. Truth takes longer but hits harder. When you feel held, check the bars. Some are metal, most are story. Keep a short vow you can measure. Vows turn feelings into rails. Walk with witnesses who sing the same refrain, because choirs beat echo chambers. Breathe with the bass line. Calm is a tactic, not a luxury. Move like someone already stamped set free again, and the duppy has nothing to eat. Esoteric flourishes. The title is a folktale flex. Ghost conqueror. Doubles as hype killer, so the hero beats both superstition and slander. Scratch's upsetter DNA shows up in the organ filigree and empty air between hits, which makes the vocal sound inevitable. The word bridge is geographic and spiritual at once, a literal crossing in Kingston and a threshold toward Mount Zion, which maps the city to scripture without ever naming chapter and verse. 2. The hook. What it claims, why it matters. The refrain claims emancipation right now, not later, and trains your mouth to say, set me free again, before your circumstances do. It treats freedom as a recurring event, not a one-time miracle. It also flips surveillance. Babylon watches bodies, Jah audits outcomes, and the hook sides with the better court. The mantra converts fear into forward motion, because repeating certainty eventually feels like certainty. It reduces complexity to a line you can remember under stress. It's anti-bitterness by design. No revenge talk, just distance, direction, and dignity. It matters because bitterness is a duppy with great PR. It also matters because communities stabilize when people sing promises instead of threats. Functionally, the hook is breath training for courage. Short phrases, steady vowels, and a pocket that never hurries make confidence feel like a default setting. You don't need to out-argue enemies, you need to outlast them. The call and response vibe makes witnesses out of bystanders. The claim of freedom forces your body language to cooperate. Chin up, steps light. Rhythm becomes ritual. Ritual becomes reflex. Over time, reflex turns into character. That's a behavioral program hiding in a street anthem. That's why it still helps on Tuesdays. The hook also resets power math. Saying you're free again collapses shame. If you failed, you're here now, and that's the fact. It refuses the script where systems get the last word. It suggests providence without sermonizing. The moral physics favors the patient and the upright. The chorus, repeated, becomes public memory, and public memory beats private fear. It gives neighborhoods a shared line against rumor and repression. It's agile. It works for a man off remand, a woman leaving a bad job, a teen ignoring clout traps. It matters because shared mantras are cheaper than lawyers and faster than press releases. It's a pocket constitution set to a skank. 3. Verse by verse or section by section, map. Section A, opening claim. We Dapon Street again. Plain English. I'm out, moving, unbroken. Implication. Institutions can pause you, not define you. Ethics equals keep walking without spite. Psychology. Release triggers identity repair. Declare who you are before the gossip does. Power. The public square is reclaimed by presence, not performance. Double meaning. Street is literal pavement and social permission. Coded language. Friend, good friend invokes solidarity, not just a buddy. It's movement talk. Sly reference. The cadence nods to church call and response, but the church is the block. Net effect. The first minute is a verdict, not a plea. Audit rule. You are what you repeat with rhythm. Section B, charges and clearing. He lists accusation and abuse, then points to a higher audit as the reason he's loose. Ethics. Let receipts, not rage, do the talking. Psychology. Refusing paranoia is part of healing. The duppy loves spirals. Power. Bars could not hold me. Reframes the state as temporary steward, not owner. Double meaning. Force could not control me equals cops and the urge to retaliate. Coded language. Turn me loose. Echoes courtroom phrasing and folk deliverance. Sly reference. Mount Zion enters as aim and address. Geography turned theology. The bridge line says crossings are dangerous. Don't be cut off mid-transit. Tactic. Protect your crossing days like sacred time. Section C, identity and warning. He names himself a duppy conqueror, then warns any bull bulba, the tough guy archetype, not to try him. Ethics. Strength is direction, not domination. Psychology. Naming yourself creates constraints you're proud to live inside. Power. The song deputizes the listener. The title is a badge, not a boast. Double meaning. Conqueror is spiritual warfare and social stamina. Coded language. Bull Bucka calls out hotheads who mistake noise for power. Sly reference. The upsetter school loves these little theater roles. Ghosts, bulls, Zion. So the conflict feels mythical and local together. End state. The hook returns to lock the identity in place. Closure. We leave as we began. Upright, unsurprised, moving. 4. Technique and texture. Early reggae stride, not yet one drop, with the kick on 2 and 4, giving that jaunty forward lean. Family Man's bass writes paragraphs under each vocal line. It's melodic enough to sing, anchoring enough to lean on. Carly's drums keep the hi-hat clipped, letting snare cracks act like exclamation marks after claims. Glenn Adams's organ bubble draws a halo around the hook, so the mantra lands with glow, not glare. Bob's delivery is declarative and relaxed, the consonants soft-hammered so nothing sounds panicked. Perry engineers space like a second instrument. Air around the voice makes the testimony feel official. Call and response ad-libs widen the we, recruiting the room as witnesses. The arrangement is short and loop-faithful. Brevity makes the refrain feel inevitable. Every mixed detail reinforces the thesis. Calm men beat chaos. 5. Cultural historical threads. Cut in Kingston during the short fought Blazing Whalers Lee Perry partnership and first issued on Perry's Upsetter imprint in 1970. The track later traveled on compilations like African Herbsman, bringing the Upsetter years to international ears after Island made Marley a global name. Duppy is straight from Afro-Caribbean lore, malevolent spirits that roam at night, so the title folds folklore into street survival. The Zion language connects to Rastafari cosmology. Spiritual geography as political compass. Perry's studio philosophy, minimal tracks, maximum vibe, shaped the sound that would see dub and modern remix culture. The Wailers lineup here includes Bob, Bunny, and Peter with the Barrett Brothers and Upsetters crew, crystallizing an era when band and producer forged each other. The single sits alongside Small Axe and Mr. Brown as folk myth reportage with civic teeth. The lineage is clear. Folk proverb, street report, liberation hymn. 6. The argument in plain terms. First, freedom is practiced before it's granted. Calling yourself free again builds a spine that paperwork can't. Power tries to rename you. Rhythm renames you back. You don't need a speech. You need a refrain. Walk the city like a verdict, not a defendant. Keep your eye on the bridge you're crossing and the mountain you're facing. The people who try to cut you off are duppies in daylight. Loud, hungry, and temporary. Your job is forward, not feud. Your proof will be momentum. Second, enemies aren't always human. Some are rumors, appetites, and the jitters that arrive at night with a calendar. The fix is both spiritual and tactical. Vow, witnesses, and time. You don't argue duppies into silence. You starve them. If bitterness calls itself justice, change the channel. If pride calls itself strength, measure outcomes, not volume. Zion is a direction more than a destination, so face it daily. The hook is your compass tone. Patience is your muscle. Third, community is the amplifier. A single voice can steady a person. A chorus can steady a block. When the hook becomes neighborhood vocabulary, scams lose their shine. A calm beat teaches breath, and breath teaches choice. The song's power is portable, cheap, and repeatable. Institutions are slow, rhythms are fast. Use what's fast to survive what's slow. That's the policy hidden in the groove. That's why the record still works on contact. 7. Listening map, what to notice in order. Count in the organ bubble. Feel how it sets a soft circle for the voice to step into. First refrain arrives early. Match your breathing to its syllables. Verse 1 names release and resilience. Notice how the snare answers claims like a clerk stamping forms. The bridge line about cut me off makes the drums feel briefly tighter. Then the groove relaxes into the chorus. Listen for the bass walk-ups before the title phrase. They feel like stairs towards Zion. Call and response ad-libs widen the scene from me to we. The final hook cycles without adding drama. Repetition is proof, not hype. Let the fade teach the lesson. Victory doesn't need fireworks. Run it twice. The second playthrough feels like confirmation. 8. Practical takeaways. No self-help cheese. Adopt a 2-line ritual under pressure. Name your aim Zion, name your status free again. Don't debate duppies, deny them time and audience. Protect your bridges days, transitions, by making them low conversation, high boundary. Keep one vow that's visible. Vows reduce wobble. Build witnesses, 2 people who know your aim and don't feed your ego. If a room requires you to shrink, that's a haunted house. Step outside and breathe to the baseline count of 4. Translate every insult into data. Are you moving or not? Put rumor on a 24-hour delay. Truth enjoys the slow lane. Treat calm as a tactic you train, not a privilege you wait for. 9. Why it still lands now. Platforms reward duppy behavior. Rumor, clout hunting, performance masquerading as principle. So a steady hymn to freedom by conduct is corrective. Duppy has migrated into global slang, but the folklore meaning keeps the metaphor sharp. Conquer ghosts, not people. The upsetter-era minimalism feels modern again in a world allergic to clutter. The hook's claim of recurring freedom suits gig economy precarity and carceral realities alike. The song's refusal to fixate on enemies models a scarce skill, strategic indifference. Its blend of sacred language and street poise still speaks to cities where faith and hustle share bus stops. And because it came from a very specific 1970 Kingston ecosystem, it travels with credibility instead of generic uplift. That's why new ears keep finding old courage inside it. Pre-commitment script, 60 seconds. Today I'll face my highest aim, even on small errands. I will not feed duppies with time, gossip, or panic. I will cross bridges clean, with short vows and long patience. My witnesses know my route and my rules. I will treat calm like armor and rhythm like breathwork. I will ignore bullbuckets and collect quiet wins. If I stumble, I will stand and say free again, then move. I will measure progress by direction, not applause. I will end the day lighter than I started. Systems map, person, policy, pattern. Person, fear spikes, rumor swirls, pride tempts. Policy, short vows, slow responses, witness circle, no decisions when flooded. Pattern, institutions wobble rights, rhythms restore agency. Compare and contrast pair with small acts from the same era. Both rebuke oversized power, but Duppy Conqueror centers inner sovereignty, while Small Acts promises structural reversal. Bar Clinic, Sue 2 short-quoted snippets. Set Me Free Again rides open vowels on the downbeat, which makes the claim sound inevitable. Duppy Conqueror lands on a firm trochee, turning identity into percussion.